What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me on this reaction journey. Today is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 2, Episode 5. Last time we left off, JoJo and the gang beat the stand user on the plane, but they had to land the plane, and now there's another stand user with a silver knight. So another fight is about to begin. I'm excited to see what we're in for. Let's go! It is amazing. Mr. Polnareff? Jean-Pierre. Whoa. It's interesting. Oh.
この世の始まりは炎に包まれていたマジシャンズレッド。しかしこの私をうぬぼれというのか。
What is
重なり合った一瞬を貫いた。いや、よく見てみろ。コインとコインの間に火炎をも取り込んでいる。私のスタンドは自由自在に炎をも切断できる。空と空の間に溝を作れるということ。
between nothingness.
私のシルバーチャリオッツの
Okay, silver chariot. All right, he's serious. Whoa, where are we going?
チャリオッツのカードを持つ暗示は侵略と勝利。でもいいが、アブドゥル。
Is he going? Okay. So he wants him at his best. What is that? Where are we? Bizarre zones. Here we go. Summon. That's epic. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, Magician Red is fast. Oh, he got the arms folded. Look at this. Oh, that's fast. Oh, shoot. Oh, wow. That's crazy. He's mocking you. It's Kamehameha. So it's a finisher. Crossfire Hurricane. Oh man. He reversed it. Nah, hey. What? Whoa. What was that? Nice. And caused it to move. That's it. Boom! It's done. 10 years to... Wow. Dude. 3 months? Wait, hey, wait, what's this? Hold on now. What? He is fun. How? What is going on? Oh. It's a surprise, alright. I'm curious. Oh. Means he's gonna be faster. Alright, that's a bit of a problem.
ハリケーンを食らったということか。しかし逆に今はもう裸、命はないということ。
Yeah, that has to be the case.
無理だね。無理とするからだ。ほう。
Okay. I don't like that. Whoa!
バカな。スタンドは
So he can replicate.
のはず。これは残像だ。
Shadow clones.
この動きについてこれない。今度の剣さばきはどうだ。
Dude, hey, watch it, watch it. Ah, here we go, here we go. Oh, that. He looks epic in purple. Are they disappearing?
少々やけくそに過ぎるぞ。
I don't know if that's random. I don't think this is going to.
それも残像だ。私のスタンドには君の
Alright, man. Well, he's going for him. Whoa!
これは相当訓練されたスタンド能力。次なる攻撃で君にとどめを刺す。
Okay, he's pretty confident.
故に私も秘密を明かしてから次の攻撃に移ろう。クロスファイヤーハリケーンにはバリエーションがある。アンクの形の炎だが、エンジンを組んだ。資格がない。甘い甘い甘い甘い甘い甘い。
Naive.
どうせ手段弾き返して。
Hey, oh! Ooh! He got him.
あれは
What?
さっき炎で開けた穴だ。一撃目の炎はトンネルを掘るためだったのだ。ファイヤーハリケーンを言ったろう。
Wow. Alright, it's done. It's over. It's a wrap.
炎に焼かれて死ぬのは苦しかろう。その探検で自害するといい。
Dude. Ooh. Don't do it. Don't bother. It's over. Oh.
炎なんかに私の剣さばきが負けるはずがないと。それが君との戦いに敗れた私の自害するのは無礼だな。騎士道とやらの礼を失せぬやつ。私の背後からも探検を投げなかった。
Wait, you tested him?
殺すのは惜しい。何か訳があるな、こいつ。
Ah.
このショックが気持ち悪いんじゃよな。うるせえぞじじい。
Ah.
これで肉の目がなくなって憎めないやつになったわけじゃな。じゃん
Make me
じゃん。
buddies.
歌教員。
Nice.
無性に腹が立ってこれが。
Grandpa humor.
すでに港に入っているはずじゃ。まだ何か。ポルナレフ。まだディオの呪縛を解いてもらったお礼を言ってない。いらないな。
You don't need it.
すごく奇妙な質問をさせていただきたい。
Bizarre question. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
まさかその左腕は右腕ではないだろうな。確かに奇妙な質問じゃ。一体どういうことかな。
Huh. What does he mean?
顔はわからない。だがそいつの腕は両腕とも右腕なのだ。
Two right arms.
50年前の戦いによる名誉の負傷じゃ。俺の妹は雨の日、学校からの帰り道をクラスメートと2人で歩いフランスの田舎道だ。あるいは透明の幕でもあるから。
What is that on?
突然クラスメートの胸がかまいたちにでもやられたかのように裂けた。
Oh man.
殺された。男の目的は九死に一生。命を取り留めたその友人の証言だ。男の顔は見ていないが両腕とも右腕だ。 誰
Okay.
もそれらの証言の内容を信じなかった。俺がそれまで誰にも隠していた能力と同じものを。明らかにスタンド能力者だ。我が妹の
Wow.
魂の尊厳
Look at this pose.
取り戻せん。俺のスタンドが叱るべき
What?
報いをあった。俺はディオに出会った。
Are we going to see it?
ビジョンだ。私のではない。君自身の心の中が私の能力を通じて念写させているのだ。一つ。
Is that a what kind of bird is that? Nah, no thanks.
苦しみを抱いている。きっと心の中から取り除けると思う君の苦しみなんだ。 力を貸そうじゃないか。この男を探し出してやるよ。
Ah, and that's how it
そ
happened.
してそれが正しいことと信じた。肉の目のせいもあるが、俺はあんたたちと共にエジプトに行くことに決めたぜ。きっと妹の敵に出会える。
Alright,
どうします？
accept him.
私に依存はありません。
Accept him.
でもついてくるじゃろうしな。
Even we said no.
ピエール・ポルナレフ、3度目。
Jean Pierre.
正確無視な剣。よろしく頼む。
Alright.
やれや。
すみません。ちょっとカメラのシャッターを押してもらえませんか？
Oh, his fan club.
海を背にしたいんです。
綺麗な足してるから全身入れようね。
It's. Oh no, no, no.
シャッターボタンのようにして押しまくりたいな。なんかわからぬ。
Oh no.
というより頭と下半身がはっきり分離しているというか。やれやれだぜ。
Alright, we got a new companion. Alright, that was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, episodes 1 through 5. Here's some thoughts. The Street Fighter inspiration continues. The officer resembles Balrog. The guy at the end of Part 2's post-credit scene was not the main villain. It was in fact the new JoJo, so I was wrong there. The setting is 1983. Generation X are those born between 1965 and 1981, so JoJo is part of this generation. Members of Generation X, or Gen Xers, grew up in a time when there were more dual-income families, single-parent households, and children of divorce than when boomers were growing up. Gen Xers came of age during the emergence of the deadly AIDS epidemic in the 1980s, which gave a new urgency to the notion of safe sex practices. They saw a changing world order, having lived through the end of the Cold War with the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Gen Xers experienced shaky economic times as children and young adults, and during the recessions of the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and would continue to be impacted by economic tumult throughout their adult lives. College tuition rates began to soar in the 1980s, saddling Generation X with more student loan debt than previous generations, which would take its members many years, for some decades, to pay off. Some entered the workforce during or after a recession. Subsequently, many Gen Xers were unemployed or underemployed, and the number of Gen Xers who as adults had to move back home to live with their parents gave rise to the Boomerang Kids moniker. Jotaro poking a hole in the can and drinking from it, that's what's called shotgunning. You can do it for soda, but it's common for beer. And there is actually a science behind it. So what shotgunning does is increase the number of moles of air into the top of the can, which will in turn increase the pressure within the can, forcing the beer out through the bottom hole even faster. One article claims the earliest known reference to shotgunning beer appears in a newspaper article from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch in 1918. Shotgunning became popular among college students in the 1970s and 1980s, and the practice has been documented at universities across the country. So JoJo shotgunning the soda can is a nice character detail, but it also helps reinforce the 1983 setting. There's a symbol on JoJo's hat. It's a gold palm plating. It reminded me of the Hand of Fate that I first seen in Batman the Animated Series. I don't think it was a direct inspiration, but it's interesting since a theme of JoJo is fate and destiny. In his jail cell, there is a book, Magia e Mysterio, which translates to magic and mystery. It's neat to have an Easter egg if you're writing a story, a comic book, or a movie, and you have a book that's thematically tied to the story, or that influenced the story. In the first Matrix movie, Neo's apartment had a copy of Simulacra and Simulation, which makes sense as the Matrix is about simulations. There's a cool shot of Joseph and Jotaro's legs walking in opposite directions of one another. Joseph is in the light, Jotaro in the darkness. They seem to be opposites of one another, not in complete alignment. For example, Joseph has Abdal as his companion, and he treats his daughter Holly with love. Jotaro doesn't have a companion. He's disrespectful to his mom Holly. This moment also highlights Jotaro's stubborn nature and his trait of confronting trouble head on. When Jotaro is sitting on the bed, there's a familiar purple lighting on him. With Dio able to sense Joestars, I can't help but wonder if he was sensing Jotaro here. Abdul spoke about Aesop's fables, the North Wind and the Sun. So it's interesting because the North Wind and the Sun wanted to see who was stronger between the two, so they turned their attention to a traveler. The North Wind used intense wind to get the traveler to remove his cloak. The traveler only kept a tighter grip. The Sun used heat, not some crazy fireball supernova attack, and this caused the traveler to get hot and take off the cloak. The moral of the story has been stated before that kindness and gentleness are far more effective than force and violence. With that said, Abdul definitely represents the sun. He's literally using heat, but he also, when first trying to get Jotaro out of the cell, he tried restraining Jotaro by his arms and legs. Jotaro, on the other hand, when summoning his stand, he went for an attack. He was aggressive, just like the North Wind. Like before, green represents rebirth or renewal, and we see that when Jotaro's stand returns. Abdul is colored yellow, which is associated with positive emotions like happiness and excitement, but negative ones like cowardice. Abdul turned his back on Jotaro, which could give that impression. I don't think Abdul is a coward though, because notice, the yellow fades and he's back to wearing his red attire. Red represents courage and confidence. With Star Platinum blocking the bullet and stands in general, I get a guardian angel vibe. Joseph said, "You don't have to stay in your cell to research your stand any longer." This line may not seem like much, but I thought it was impactful. Joseph was an excellent strategist in his younger years. Joseph could see through Jotaro, which makes Joseph the ideal mentor. When creating stories, you want to turn things on its head, so to speak, put a twist on things. We have two JoJo's here, we didn't see this before. Joseph had that stubbornness which Jotaro displays, so Joseph can relate to him, and now Joseph is in a supporting mentor role. He is in Lisa's position. So with episode 2, we have Jotaro falling down some stairs. Over 1 million injuries occur each year as a result of stairway falls. Staircase and stairway accidents constitute the second leading cause of accidental injury, second only to motor vehicle accidents. Each year, there are 12,000 stairway accident deaths. The schoolgirls really love Jotaro. The way he comes across, his attitude, he gives off the bad boy vibe. He even refers to himself as a punk. He'll hit teachers, skip out on paying bills. There was a study. To start, they asked women to evaluate 4 male prototypes, getting a sense for the traits that women believed each type of man possessed. Dominance, bad boys and heroes were seen as more dominant than nice guys and losers. Supportiveness, nice guys and heroes were seen as more supportive than bad boys and losers. Physical attractiveness, heroes and bad boys were presumed to be the most physically attractive, losers as the least attractive, and nice guys somewhere in between. Results indicated that women who were made to feel avoidant became less sexually interested in supportive partners. Women who were made to feel anxious, however, became more interested in a relationship with dominant men. Beyond that, women with higher self-esteem tended to prefer nice guys over bad boys, whereas women with higher socio-sexual orientation preferred bad boys to nice guys. Kakyoin reminded me of Yusuke, I think that was his name, from Yu Yu Hakusho. With all this talk about spirits, it would be cool if the character design is a homage. Or it would be cool if the reverse was true. I did see that the JoJo manga was published in the mid-1980s and Yu Yu Hakusho sometime in the early 90s, I believe. It's a nice character detail with Joseph and Abdul. Abdul is a cultured man, open-minded and interested in the tea ceremony. Joseph is very Americanized who believes instant coffee is just as good. People tend to like best what is most familiar. Many of the sensory details, coffee or music, with repeated exposure can become increasingly pleasant. However, increased exposure to stimuli may result in habituation or less liking over time. It could also be Joseph's bias at play. He tasted the terrible coffee and assumed it was Japanese coffee. A nurse generally helps people with their health. The irony is she was affected by Kakyoin's stand and harmed one of her patients. The flesh bud looks a little bit like the alien egg from the Alien franchise. If you're familiar with The Last of Us, that's probably when you first became aware of the fungus that controls ants. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, otherwise known as cordyceps or zombie ant fungus, infects insects such as ants or spiders. Like other parasites, cordyceps drains its host completely of nutrients before filling its body with spores that will let the fungus reproduce. It then compels the insect to seek height and remain there before it expels these spores, infecting other nearby insects in the process. It's unlikely to affect humans. However, there is another parasite. The parasite Toxoplasma gondii hides in up to half of humans. It can have a mind control effect over mice, changing the rodent's behavior and help itself spread. The parasite can actually hide from a human's immune system. It morphs into a dormant defensive state. Under stressful conditions like an immune attack, T. gondii burrows into brain and muscle tissue and morphs into a bradyzoite, which encloses itself inside a cyst and waits to revert to its active state. Scientists remain unsure whether the parasite can similarly control the human brain. Some studies suggest it could contribute to aggression, impulsive behavior, and schizophrenia, while other studies dispute these effects. Most people carrying T. gondii don't develop any symptoms, but more rarely, the infection can trigger mild flu-like symptoms or even severe illness. Joseph stated, Dio is a charismatic figure, which means he can sway others with his overwhelming powers of attraction. In the anime Monster, the antagonist Johan is a blonde man with charisma who influenced people wherever he went. Cult leaders' charisma also helps them set up a power imbalance between them and their followers. Charismatic leaders tend to be intuitive. They're able to read people. They thrive on chaos. They'll create crisis situations. When they walk in the room, you never know if they're going to be good and kind-hearted or be mean and call someone out or create some kind of dangerous situation. Dio appears with the light behind him. It's like his version of the sun, a twisted version he can only be under while in darkness. Holly's name is Seiko in Japanese, which means holy. Take away one L from Holly and you get holy. This could be either a detail to help describe her and her innocent, wholesome nature, or it could be a plot point. Dio being evil incarnate as was stated, and Holly being holy. She's innocent, childlike for a 45-year-old. To put up with Jotaro requires a special person, considering the things he said to her. Without question, Joseph loves Holly. A doctor concluded, Dr. Nielsen's work at Wake Forest has concluded that women perform better in what they refer to as the 3 M's, money, men, and mental health, if the father-daughter relationship is strong. Daughters who have solid, supportive relationships with their fathers tend to get better grades. They also tend to graduate at higher rates and are more likely to enter into STEM professions. It is believed that this is due not only to added confidence and agency, but additional assertiveness that is learned from fathers. I should have expected Holly to manifest a stand. In episode 1, Avdol foreshadowed it when he said, all we can say now is that Dio's existence is what brought forth the powers that were dormant within you. And it shows the silhouettes of Joseph, Holly, and Jotaro. The heroes have 50 days to defeat Dio and save Holly. In storytelling, a deadline or ticking clock is a device that creates a sense of urgency. If the protagonist doesn't defeat the antagonist within a certain amount of time, all is lost. Think of stories where there's a bomb involved. Even in real life, think of sporting events. Football, basketball, boxing, they have time limits, which creates urgency. We saw in the Battle Tennessee arc with Joseph having a certain amount of time to live unless he defeated Wamu in AC/DC. Speaking of a certain amount of time to live, there's parallels between Holly and Joseph. As George Lucas once said, it's like poetry, they rhyme. With Avdol, I get Speedwagon vibes. He's a little more of a participant, but JoJo isn't complete without a Speedwagon ally and a Zeppeli ally. At this moment, Kakyoin seems to be fulfilling the Zeppeli role. He's like Caesar Zeppeli, treating women with respect while Jotaro is reminiscent of JoJo. JoJo mentioning being part of 3 plane crashes is a good moment. It represents the art of showing, not telling. Show don't tell is one of the simplest guidelines in writing and one of the most helpful. In short, it encourages writers to transmit experiences to the reader rather than just information. We were with Joseph on his first crash with Zeppeli, the one in the battle with cars, and now this new one. Show don't tell works especially well for relationships. Instead of exposition telling us 2 characters are friends when we've never seen them interact before, or characters always referring to their exciting adventures that happen off screen, is more effective if we the audience experience this firsthand. The expression good grief is believed to be 16th century English and is used as an expression of shock and surprise. However, the phrase gained its modern connotation in the early 1900s from the classic comic strip Peanuts. The phrase became closely associated with the character Charlie Brown, who will often exclaim good grief when facing difficult situations. Everyone is wearing some type of jewelry. Jotaro has a giant chain. The phrase that comes to mind is, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, meaning a group or organization is only as strong as its weakest member. There are more interpretations that can come from Jotaro's necklace alone. For example, chains can represent being grounded and connected to your origins. Considering the size of Jotaro's chain, it resembles something at an industrial site or something that pulls ships and machines. The chain could symbolize strength. We see strength with his stand, Star Platinum. Jean-Pierre's earrings seem like they fit together and were broken apart like a heart. It makes sense considering his sister was murdered. Avdol has a full chain with multiple medallions. However, medallions are a fashionable and stylish way to symbolize a person's heritage, tradition, religious beliefs, achievements, or personalization. Jotaro removing the flash bud and it disintegrating in the sun seems like a callback to Joseph in AC/DC, and AC/DC's tentacle-like brain disintegrating. Jean-Pierre's sister was killed by a man with 2 right arms. There's a 1987 movie and a novel, The Princess Bride, where a swordsman character named Inigo Montoya wants to avenge his father by executing the swordsman who took his life. The swordsman had 6 fingers on his right hand. We have the outro where the 5 main characters are walking towards an eye. Back in episode 3, there's an eye near Dio. This could be the evil eye. It's a superstition and is believed to have the ability to cause injury or death to those on whom it falls. Well, that's it for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episodes 1 through 5. Onward to the next episodes. As the season goes on, I'll probably learn more about stands and we'll be able to talk more about them. But if you like this video, please like, share. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Take it easy.